guys, if you want to come up on stage to share the moment with us, just call in and I'll send you an invite to join us on stage.
Week 2 of training at SpaceX complete. This was a heavy week.
I just completed another week at SpaceX, and it was intense.
A lot of good building blocks. So you start in the beginning of the week with smaller things like losing comms to, okay, some circumstances are not so good, and then some get really bad where you have to, plan an emergency deorbit, which we initiate ourselves in that.
But man, challenging. I didn't realize how much upper body strength I need, so I need to hit the gym the next couple of months and build up some more muscles.
Today was my favorite day of training because today was the medical training day.
Learn some more about some of the medical experiments we're going to be working with and helping to advance what we know about humans in spaceflight. We've all contributed all sorts of fluids now to the greater scientific cause.
But the best part is we all got in our spacesuits together.
We got to wear spacesuits, strap into the simulator, and feel like we were actually going to space.
Hello again, Chris here, and it's August 2nd, 2021, 44 days from our launch in September. Everything keeps going to plan, and it's been an incredible week last week, working with SpaceX teams at Kennedy Space Center, and then back here in Hawthorne this week for some sims.
This spacesuit that I got fitted for about 7 months ago, I actually get to see and try on and do a bunch of maneuvers in to make sure that it's comfortable and that I can move. And I am just so excited for this because, this is the spacesuit I'm going to wear leaving the planet.
I'm just so honored and thankful and grateful to be a part of this historic mission and a part of the SpaceX team.
Y'all are working so hard to get to Mars and beyond. We want to provide great data, and we're really excited to be part of this.
All right, well, thanks everybody for a fantastic time here in Hawthorne and also down at Kennedy. We've been doing training down there as well. So really appreciate everything you guys been doing.
This is my final call here from SpaceX. So Brooke signing off.
So incredible to get an inside look to their training. Only 553 humans have been to orbit, and most of those traveled as part of government or country-specific missions. As a result, the research conducted on those missions, particularly as it relates to humans in space, is often only accessible by the country or government that conducted the research. Think about the possibilities if the...
So are people excited? Come on, let's hear from the crowd on stage. I want to see rocket emojis. Come on, rocket emojis.
Wow. Less than 4 miles away.
Yeah, we're T-minus 28 minutes. All it looks go for launch so far.
Saturation, among other things, will be accessible for research.
And to that end,
again, for those who are just joining, if you want to join us on stage, just call in and we'll send you an invite to come join us on stage and share in this momentous occasion, which is sending 4 untrained civilians, non-professional astronauts into orbit, highest humans have ever been since the Apollo missions.
reduce health and performance risks in space exploration.
Is anyone else here watching live?
Some really colorful sunglasses.
In person, no. We have somebody. I can maybe send them an invite if they want to join us. I know Tesla, if you know.
Yeah, no, I'm here at Kennedy Space Center. I'm like 4 miles away. I'm excited.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, wow.
I am super.
To see firsthand
That's so
some of the equipment that the crew has in their cargo hold. Like we've said before, this is a science mission in addition to it's a 3-day science mission basically. And
so are you at the visit
one of the other things that Diana showed us was the ultrasound reader and how the intracranial fluid changes while you're in space. So
I think he's as close as you can possibly get.
Instead of the fluids in your body being concentrated towards your feet,
Yeah, this
they
is
kind of they equalize towards your head, which can affect vision. And they are planning to use that ultrasound reader, which they just plug right into an iPad to do readings live inside Crew Dragon of their eyeballs while they're in space for 3 days.
That was so cool to see.
Yeah.
In addition to all the awesome science going up on today's mission, the Inspiration4 team is also using this mission to bring awareness and help fundraise for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. The Children's Research Hospital opened in Memphis, Tennessee in 1962, and ever since has been committed to finding cures for kids with cancer and other life-threatening diseases, regardless of their socioeconomic status, race, belief, or ethnicity. St. Jude has invented treatments that help to push the overall childhood cancer survival rate from 20% to more than 80% in the United States. In developing countries, that number is unfortunately not that high, with fewer than 1 in 5 children with cancer surviving. St. Jude has a bold mission to change that.
The Inspiration4 mission is part of an ambitious fundraising goal to give hope to all kids with cancer and other life-threatening diseases. The goal is to raise $200 million for St. Jude. Jared already committed $100 million. Jared already committed $100 million of his own money, and the team has raised about $30 million so far, but we still have a ways to go. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice that there's a donation button where you can make your own contribution. Any amount, big or small, makes a big difference, and it's super easy to do. So go ahead and click the donate button and give what you can to help save a child's life.
Beyond the good this mission will do for science and childhood cancer, this mission is also exciting because it's the debut of the new Dragon cupola. I think we have some footages here of the cupola. It is going to be the largest continuous window in space ever by a factor of 2 and has over 2,000 square inches of viewing area.
Yeah, and there's a lot that went into the design for this. This is going to outer space, so it needs to be designed and tested for, all the loads that it will see while it's out in space. It's a great view to look out of, but it also needs to act as a fully functioning portion of the spacecraft.
Yeah, we were talking about reusability earlier, and this capsule is being used for the second time on this mission. It previously supported the Crew 1 mission in November of last year, but this cupola is brand new to this capsule, brand new to SpaceX. We're debuting it on this mission, and it is there's a view of it there in an anechoic chamber, and it's just incredible that we're basically going to have 360 views of space from the forward hatch there of the Crew Dragon capsule. And this is an animation showing how its position in Crew Dragon is a little different. So Crew Dragon used to dock autonomously.
What was that?
Or does dock autonomously to the International Space Station.
Ricky,
that port there
I missed that.
underneath the nose cone.
I said, is anybody else a ball of nerves right now?
And for this mission,
Yeah, I
it
am.
is now replaced.
Yeah. Excited, but nervous as well. Yeah.
I think this is the most nervous for a launch that I've ever been.
I'm so stoked to see launch here.
Yeah, this is history in the making.
23 minutes, the ground operations teams are doing a series of system checks to make sure both Dragon and Falcon 9 are ready for launch. Let's take a look at what the ascent portion of the mission will look like.
Once we hit T0, we will watch Falcon 9 and Dragon lift off from historic launch pad 39A and make their ascent. At about 50 seconds into flight, Falcon 9's engines will throttle down to help pass through the period of maximum dynamic pressure on the rocket, or what we typically refer to as max Q. And it's worth noting that once we hit max Q, the vehicle will be going supersonic.
Once we are through the period of maximum dynamic pressure, we can throttle up our Merlin engines again. From here, we are about 2.5 minutes into flight, and we have a series of 3 events that happen in rapid succession. First is MECO, or main engine cutoff. This is where all 9 Merlin engines shut off in preparation for stage separation. Stage separation is where the first stage detaches from the second stage, with the first stage making its way back to Earth for landing as the second stage continues on its journey with the third event.
which is SCS-1 or second engine start 1. And that is where the Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage lights up and propels the second stage along with our Inspiration4 crew to orbit. As Stage 2 heads towards its targeted drop-off orbit, Stage 1 will execute 2 burns in order to make its way back to Earth. The first is the entry burn, which is where 3 of those 9 Merlin 1D engines will reignite and then shut down, and that'll help slow the stage down in preparation for entry back into the Earth's atmosphere.
While the first stage is heading back to Earth, the second stage will cut off its 1 Merlin engine that was ignited right after stage separation. Once this happens, we will wait for confirmation of a good orbital insertion. About 90 seconds after Dragon gets into orbit, Falcon 9 will land back on Earth. The landing burn, a single engine burn, will bring the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to land on the drone ship about 9.5 minutes into the mission.
While Falcon 9 first stage is landing, Dragon is preparing to separate from the second stage. At about 3 minutes after the second stage gets into orbit, we should have a great view of Dragon with its 4-person crew drifting away from the second stage. Once Dragon is a short distance away, it will begin checking out its Draco maneuvering thrusters to make sure Dragon continues to increase separation distance from the second stage.
It's getting very exciting. The nose cone deploy sequence will initiate just before T plus 12 minutes and end around the T plus 15 minute mark. We do expect to see our first glimpse of the Dragon cupola in outer space at this time.
T-minus 20.
Just heard it. T-minus 20 minutes, 5 seconds counting. Stage 2 fuel load is complete. We're under 20 minutes to liftoff. Been a wonderful day for today's Inspiration4 mission, the first all-civilian mission to space. If you joined us earlier in the broadcast, we had a pretty important question for the Inspiration4 crew that remains unresolved. For those of you who missed that, here's your chance to weigh in.
If I had to choose between Star Wars, Star Trek, and then one of my other favorites is Stargate as G1, I would rather trek across the universe than fight my way.
I've heard, are you a Star Wars guy? Are you a Star Trek guy? Those used to be true. I really think I'm a Battlestar Galactica guy.
Oh, God.
There's no question it's Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan, for sure. I would say that if I had to guess, it's a split crew between Star Wars and Star Trek. I don't know if anyone else would have dropped Battlestar Galactica. I don't know on that one.
Can't beat Captain Madonna.
I think Jared is Star Wars. Cyan is Star Wars. Chris is the wild card, but I think he's Star Wars.
Oh, Jared is definitely Star Wars. I think Chris is probably Star Trek, but I'm not 100% sure. And I would think that Haley, she's the youngest, so I think maybe Star Wars. I think Star Trek is too old for her.
Oh, I'm Star Trek all the way.
There you go.
I wanted to be Bones. I kind of am a medical officer, so.
I don't know if we're like completely unified around that. I mean, there is other, sci-fi, spacey stuff that comes before Star Trek.
Star Trek is old.
Okay.
Out.
They don't know they're wrong. Like that just learn that over
Well,
time.
the original series. Okay, let's go quick around the room. Like Star Trek or Star Wars?
Like Jared's last little
Star
comment,
Trek.
They don't know they're wrong.
Star Wars.
When you're the commander of the
Star
mission,
Trek.
I wonder what your vote counts.
Star Wars.
Just under T-minus 18 minutes, everything continues to go well.
Peter.
Getting ready to start box loading on the second stage.
Okay, so let me see. Who would I throw back into the audience? Okay, unmute your mic if you were Star Wars.
Daylight saving time.
I'm just kidding.
Falcon 9's going to take Dragon into its orbit of about 190 by 575 kilometers. Shortly after that, we will raise Dragon's orbit to 575 kilometers in a circular orbit, higher than the space station, higher than the space telescope. For 3 days, a series of amazing views that Jared and the team should have looking through the windows and the cupola up there on the Inspiration4 Dragon.
This crew will see about 15 orbits a day at this altitude. they'll get to experience 15 sunrises and 15 sunsets, which should be pretty incredible. And just as a comparison, John mentioned the International Space Station is going to be a little bit lower than where this crew is going to. Because the International Space Station is closer, it takes a little less time to orbit the Earth, so they see 16 orbits a day, relative to what this Inspiration4 crew will see will be 15 orbits a day.
I do want to comment on what we're seeing on screen. This is the Falcon 9 rocket. That was called for stage 2 liquid oxygen loading. You can start to see some white clouds around Falcon 9. That is normal and expected for us at this stage in the countdown. We are topping off that super chilled liquid oxygen. And when it reaches the warmer ambient air temperatures of Florida, it starts to condense and form those clouds that you can see.
Now, if you notice that the second stage there is a slightly whiter shade than the first stage, that's because the first stage has been reused twice before. It previously supported the GPS 3.4 and GPS 3.5 missions back in 2020 and 2021 of this year. So that booster is making its third flight today. The Dragon capsule is making its second flight. It previously flew on the NASA Crew 1 mission to the International Space Station. So that's why the second stage looks a little different than the first stage there, just underneath it.
Close to T-minus 15.
And if you're just now joining us, you are tuned in to the first all-civilian mission to orbit, known as Inspiration4. It's getting very exciting here. We're just a little over T-minus 15 minutes from T0.
And we started covering the action at T-minus 4 hours with the crew walking out of Hangar X. They made their way over to the Falcon support building where they got suited up. And then we saw them hop in the Teslas, ride up to the pad, go up the fixed service structure and walk down that lit crew access arm that we see there connecting Falcon 9 to the tower. And it's hard to believe that we're now under 15 minutes before launching the first all-civilian mission to orbit. Again, these are 4 non-professional astronauts. They're people just like us, and they're going to be going to space for 3 days. They're going to be orbiting Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. So they're basically going so fast that they won't fall back to Earth until we tell Dragon to do so. And they're going to be going up to a height of 575 kilometers.
And at those speeds and at those altitudes, they're going to be doing tons of science, which is super cool. And all of that data is going to be available for folks to continue to push the boundaries of what human space exploration will be in the near future.
Close to 250,000 people watching it live on YouTube.
So that's a live view of Falcon 9 with Crew Dragon for the Inspiration4 mission sitting on top. There we can see our 4 soon-to-be astronauts there, comfortable in their seats. Throughout the day, we have seen a lot of camaraderie, a lot of joking, and I imagine that things are starting to get a little more serious. They're really focusing in on the task at hand, which is going to space in just a little over 13 minutes.
Yeah, this is very exciting. If you've been following along, they do have a Netflix documentary following their journey all the way up until this point. And the crew has just been so incredible. It's been so amazing to watch them throughout this whole process, and very excited to see them strapped in their seats, ready to go.
We're just inside T-minus 13 minutes, counting down. Everything is still looking good for launch of Falcon 9 and Dragon at 8 hours, 2 minutes, 56 seconds Eastern Daylight Saving Time, coming up very shortly. Falcon 9 did begin propellant loading on time at T-minus 35 minutes. Loading of the RP1 kerosene fuel onto the second stage is complete. That closed out right on time. Fuel loading is continuing on the larger first stage tank. It's about half full right now. That'll finish at T-minus 6 minutes. We ought to hear that call out on the webcast. We're continuing to load densified liquid oxygen onto the first stage and into the second stage tanks. Now, the liquid oxygen load will wrap up at about T-minus 3 minutes on first stage, T-minus 2 minutes on the second stage. Now, a reminder, now that we are into propellant loading, we cannot stop the countdown and try to launch later in the window. So if a problem arises that requires holding the countdown clock, those dreaded words, hold, we don't want to hear, we would have to scrub for the night and try again. We have a launch opportunity tomorrow just a little bit later if conditions allow. In addition to the Falcon 9 being go, the range is go. Weather. We've had great cooperation out of the Florida weather, both ground level, upper altitude, and around the world at the contingency landing sites. On the Dragon spacecraft, Dragon mission director and that team have reported no issues. They've done the communications checkouts. The crew access arm that you can see is retracted away from the Dragon spacecraft. We armed the launch escape system on time. On the right-hand side of the monitor, you can see the 4-person crew strapped in, and they are ready to go. Coming up in about a minute, we're going to get final instructions to the crew at T-minus 10 minutes. They're going to configure their crew displays for launch, and that's a setup that will give the crew insight into how the launch is proceeding, and it'll provide updates on vehicle health. Then we'll get a little closer at T-minus 5 minutes. We'll be into terminal count for the Dragon spacecraft. Dragon will go to internal power. We'll hear continued call-outs in the countdown net as we get close to zero and a liftoff. Our next major event coming up right now, T-minus 10 minutes, as I said. Dragon will get its final instructions. We will also do a final series of checks of Falcon 9 telemetry against a preset limits. Make sure that all systems are go. And then we'll be moving from there into the closeouts on propellant, chilling into the engines to get ready for engine ignition down at about T-minus 2 seconds.
270,000.
Let's listen in on the countdown net for a minute.
People watching on YouTube.
Dragon SpaceX, confirm crew displays are configured for launch.
SpaceX Dragon, our displays are configured for launch.
Copy that, Dragon. And it has been an absolute honor to prepare you for this historic flight. Today, you are truly inspiring the world. We wish you a great mission, good luck, Godspeed, and enjoy the ride.
Yes, Godspeed. Can I get some rocket emojis? Come on.
Cool stuff. Godspeed.
Oh my God, my heart is speeding up, my heart rate.
I know, I'm nervous.
Okay, it looks like we passed through another event, the T-minus 10-minute call up to the crew to reconfigure. And final message from the ground team as they get ready to have Inspiration4 team inspire the world. The Falcon 9 side, we're doing the last T-minus 10-minute checks. Next major event coming up, I think you've got that event.
Yeah, I just want to note that was SpaceX Core, which stands for the Crew Operations and Resource Engineer. That was the voice of Sarah Gillis, and she is basically the primary resource to the crew. We can see some excitement there on the right-hand side of your screen as the crew, I think they're really starting to realize that they're going to space in under 10 minutes. Now, the next major event that we have coming up will occur at T-minus 7 minutes. You'll hear the call out for engine chill. Engine chill is simply, as the name says, we chill down some of the hardware in the engine. We're actually going to flow a little bit of the super chilled, densified liquid oxygen through the turbo pumps and allow that hardware to basically come down, the temperature come down. This allows us to avoid any thermal shock to the hardware when the full flow of super chilled liquid oxygen occurs at startup. So there on your screen, Dragon Resilience with the Inspiration4 crew strapped in their seats there at the top of the rocket.
Tesla Daily
Once
just
again,
posted
if you're
a
just
video.
joining us, this is the first all-civilian mission to orbit, and they are going to space in 7.5 minutes. They will be ascending to an altitude of 575 kilometers above Earth and orbiting Earth at that altitude for 3 days.
Close to 300,000 watching live on YouTube. It's going up.
There's that crew there on your screen. On the far left seat is Chris Zembrowski. Next to him, Dr. Cyan Proctor, the pilot. Next to her to the right, Commander Jared Isaacman. And to the right of Jared, Haley Arsenault, the medical officer.
Stage 1 engine chill has started.
7 minutes,
All right,
folks.
there's that call that stage 1 engine chill has started.
We don't really have a good view, but right now at the base of the Falcon 9, the 9 Merlin engines are beginning to vent a little bit of liquid oxygen overboard down into that flame bucket. As Kate says, that's chilling in the turbo pumps in preparation for going to high-speed flow at T-minus 2 seconds. Nice view on top of the fixed service structure looking down at Dragon. Transport erector or strongback is currently still clamped onto the second stage right next to the vehicle. We'll see that retract start in about 4.5 minutes before launch when the arms open up and then the strongback will recline away a couple of degrees. What we're getting ready for
load complete.
right now is that call out. We're right on time. The fuel load, the RP1 kerosene, refined petroleum 1, rocket propellant 1 grade, is loaded onto the first stage. So that leaves us with just liquid oxygen loading continuing on both first and second stage. You can see that moist Florida air slowly breezing by the 2 chilled down liquid oxygen tanks. And you can see the mist coming off as the moisture, the humidity in the air condenses and gives you those clouds.
315,000.
Yeah, that super chilled liquid oxygen coming into contact with the ambient Florida air. So creates these puffs of white clouds. As John said, completely normal. In fact, we will be seeing more of those once LOX load completes and those lines are closed off to the vehicle.
5 minutes.
Coming up in just about 10 seconds, we should be hearing the call that Dragon has been transitioned to its terminal count configuration.
Do you guys want me to unmute myself when the launch is going up so you can hear the,
sure,
the roar?
Has transitioned to configure for terminal count. Falcon 9 tanks are pressurizing for strongback retract.
327,000.
Everything continuing to go on schedule. We're beginning to pressurize the tanks. That'll help stiffen the second stage up as the 2 hydraulic clamp arms will open up coming up here very shortly.
My stomach is so nervous.
Strongback is lowering.
I wasn't even this.
Yeah, but they were pros.
Maybe that's it.
333,000 people watching live and climbing.
As you can see on the timeline there at the bottom of your screen, the strongback retraction is the next major event. In fact, the last physical event or modification to the pad prior to liftoff.
Under 4 minutes, folks.
Falcon 9 is nearly fully loaded with almost 1 million pounds of liquid kerosene and liquid oxygen. That liquid oxygen is what we see venting there, those white clouds. All right, there on your screen, you can see that the strongback is beginning to retract.
And Kate, that strongback will move back just a couple of degrees you see here. Then at T0, when the Falcon 9 sends the liftoff command to the ground to release it, hydraulics will bring that strongback the rest of the way to about a 45-degree position at liftoff.
Stage 1 LOX load complete.
We've got the call out right on time. First stage liquid oxygen loading is complete.
3 minutes.
Shutting down the ground pumps. We're down to just loading second stage liquid oxygen.
Dragon has transitioned to terminal count and is on internal power.
All right, there's that call out that Dragon is now running on its own power. It is no longer connected to the power systems of Pad 39A. As you just heard, the crowd is super excited here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California, as we are now under 2.5 minutes until the launch of the Inspiration4 crew.
362,000 watching live.
That crew there can be seen on the right-hand side of your screen, buckled in and ready to go.
Oh my god.
2 minutes, folks. 2 minutes.
Wow, this is gonna be.
It will be.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
And there's the call that stage 2 LOX load is
Dragon
complete.
has an auto idle.
Falcon is now fully loaded with all of its propellants.
Closeout will begin shortly. Expect loud venting.
Announcement to
What's
let the crew
everybody's heart?
know that as we vent off various lines on the launch
Here we
pad,
go.
we'll hear some loud noises.
45.
Let the crew know that's planned. We're also right now draining liquid oxygen out of the transporter erector, draining the lines, getting ready for launch. Waiting
This
for
is
the
it.
startup call at T-minus 1 minute.
I would hate to be their fan.
Godspeed, Godspeed.
FPS is down.
Here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So there's a big delay.
Oh wow.
We're at T-minus 30 seconds.
Touch it, SpaceX.
Maybe we should have confirmed. Okay, so we're having a glimpse into the future.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
T-plus 30 seconds. Indicate nominal start mission flight Inspiration4 crew. Onboard landing and Falcon 9. Make view of the crew on the capsule. We're into the throttle now. Into the throttle button.
I can't believe it. Boy, did I
Throttling down in preparation for the period of maximum dynamic pressure. And then the flight.
Supersonic. Stage 1 throttle up.
We're through the period of maximum dynamic pressure. We throttled back up, and 1 Bravo, the call out from space. That's one of the abort sequences. That is a nominal call. Everything continues to be good.
First stage is to land out on the
They look super
Looks like a
relaxed.
smooth ride for the crew.
3 days. 3 days around the Earth. I took a ton of pictures there.
Okay, we have the pull out. MBAC is turned. We're beginning to get the turtle pump ready on the second stage engine for ignition. We're passing through 3 G's acceleration. Everything continues to look nominal.
415,000 people watching live. We're 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the mission.
Rolling engines are throttling down for G limiting. 4 G's, we're holding it there for the crew.
Getting close
Major
to
event
Nico.
coming up will be main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, looking at the second stage engine nozzle, and then ignition of the second stage.
And Miko. Stage separation.
Successful.
Looking
I need some of those motion sickness pills that Chris.
I'm sure the crew felt another kick in the G's there as it ignited. Officially, the Inspiration4 crew are now on their way to space. First stage booster there on the left-hand side of your screen is making its way back down to Earth. The grid fins have popped out to assist with the steering. It will be making a landing attempt on our drone ship. Just read the instructions, which is parked out and holding position in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, so we have a couple of views on screen.
Signal, Bermuda.
As Kate mentioned, the left-hand side is a view from the top of our first stage looking down that has already separated from the second stage and it's making its way back to Earth. The velocity of the first stage,
SpaceX, trajectory nominal,
is being tracked on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen is a view of our second stage Merlin vacuum engine. On the opposite end of that engine is the second stage and the crew, which sits on top of the second stage. Everything looks to be going normally with them. And you can also track the velocity on the second stage on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. And we also have awesome views of the crew inside of their capsule as well.
I'm pretty sure during first stage ascent, I saw Dr. Cyan Proctor. I'm pretty sure I saw Dr. Cyan Proctor give us 2 thumbs up. I'm sure she enjoyed this ride that she's been waiting for her entire life.
Yes. One notable thing, too, is we're getting some twilight views. The sun just set in Florida, but we're high enough up where the light around the horizon is also reflecting off of very high altitude objects, such as the first and second stages.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
Love to hear that call out. Trajectory nominal from the guidance engineer. Also notice we're really up there now, well past 100 kilometers.
Acquisition signal, New Hampshire.
Just before that view switched, we saw some teammate fist bumps going on there inside of the cabin.
Yeah, they're having a
It
blast.
looks like they're having a fun ride there. And their journey isn't over. We've got about 7 more minutes until Dragon separates from the second stage.
Yes, next milestone for this mission is actually going to be happening on the first stage. It's going to be performing a re-entry burn that's going to be coming up around the T+, 7 minute and 30-second mark. That burn is used to slow down the first stage before it re-enters the denser parts of the atmosphere. A few minutes later, it will execute a landing burn and make an attempt to land on our drone ship that's currently parked in the Atlantic Ocean.
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
12,000 kilometers an hour, they're going at 201 kilometers of altitude.
So far, I'm just going to say, so far, everything looking great for the Inspiration4 crew. Hearing that everything is proceeding nominally there with the second stage, which is what you see on the right-hand side.
Energy propulsion is nominal.
I was just going to say that MVAC engine we just heard now is looking nominal.
About a minute left to go before the first stage performs its first burn.
Are they reusing Merlin's?
And on your left-hand side, looking at the first stage, you may see those
for the first stage,
white
yes.
puffs. Those are the nitrogen puffs helping to steer and guide the vehicle. Basically,
Dragon, SpaceX, trajectory nominal.
15,000 kilometers
basically
an hour.
is the attitude control for the vehicle as it makes its way back down to Earth.
There's the crew on the right-hand side of your screen. I think I see some more thumbs up there.
Yep.
Dr. Proctor is clearly excited that she's finally in space. Again, this mission will be orbiting Earth for 3 days, and they will be at an altitude of 575 kilometers, which, if I remember correctly, John you said that is the distance from Los Angeles to the Golden Gate Bridge.
There you go. They're going to get there a lot faster.
Stage 2, FTS is saved.
Right now.
So what you're seeing on screen on the left-hand side is the entry burns, the first of 2 burns on the first stage. again, this first stage has already separated from the second stage. So the first stage is making its way back to Earth, trying to land, and the second stage, everything is going well. It is headed into orbit with the crew on board.
Actually, there on your screen, you can see a sunrise horizon there with planet Earth just behind the glowing MVAC engine.
22,000.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
22,000 kilometers an hour.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance. We're at the altitude. We're working the angular momentum we need to get into the right orbit. And if you're wondering, cruise pull about 3.5 Gs right now, less than it took on the first stage flight.
So in about 15 seconds, we are expecting...
Copy, Shannon.
26,000.
We're expecting the MVAC to throttle down and cut off in an event called second engine cutoff, and then we'll wait for the confirmation of good orbit. At the same time, the first stage will be beginning its landing burn. And here we have the MVAC. We just saw that it shut off its engine.
Good news there. Nominal orbit insertion. That's amazing news for Inspiration4 crew.
We are good.
Yeah, I think they stick the landing also at first stage.
It's pretty incredible. Stage 1 landing is complete.
Yeah, there we go.
We just heard from Jared thanking everyone for making this decision. The Dragon capsule and crew are in a nominal orbit. In a few minutes here, we'll begin opening that. In a few minutes here, we'll separate from the second stage, and then shortly after that, we'll begin opening that nose cone. At the same time, we landed our first stage on the drone ship, which is super exciting.
As if the second stage action wasn't exciting enough. Right. So there's that MVAC engine, like we mentioned before. It has already shut down in an event known as second engine cutoff. And the crew are now gliding, if you will.
Now, one thing right now is we're coming up just under 11 minutes in the flight. We're waiting another minute and a half or so before we get into the separation sequence. The second stage is going through a series of events where we make sure that gases are all pushed out of the system. There aren't any what they call disturbance torques. We want to make sure that the second stage is very stable, it's quiet, it's not moving around, it's not doing anything. So we give it a few minutes to actually just vent everything down, then go into quiet mode. Then Dragon will send the command to separate itself from the Falcon 9. It'll be pushed away. Falcon 9 stays in orbit for a while till it eventually comes back to Earth, and then Dragon moves on its way.
Yeah, John, you talked about the terminal count earlier today, and this is almost similar to that. It's like another check before the next event that happens.
The beauty of the countdown.
We're about 30 seconds away from separation of Dragon from the second stage. The view on the left-hand side of the screen is a view of the unpressurized section of Dragon. So it's the sort of back end, the trunk section of the Dragon. So when we do see separation, we'll see that kind of push away from the second stage and make its way into orbit.
Once again, the Inspiration4 has lifted off from pad 39A. They are now in orbit around Earth.
There we go.
And copy that, Chris. We really appreciate it. Much help back in LCC.
That was the voice of SpaceX Chief Engineer Bill Gerstenmaier communicating with Inspiration4 Commander Jared Isaacman. The
Oh my
Dragon
gosh,
has
I feel like
separated
my
away
breath
from the
all day.
second stage. And that's
I
the
can
view that
finally
we have
breathe.
on the left-hand side.
Oh yeah,
A lot of
well, they
space
were
there.
pretty chill all along, but
And,
yeah,
so
now they're in
the
space, 200 kilometers up and rising.
next event that we are anticipating is the opening.
Dragon SpaceX nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
We're going to open up that nose cone.
So in a few minutes, they're going to open the nose cone and expose the cupola. And they have that zero G indicator. I can't make out.
Checkouts after separation.
It looks like a little dog that's floating around.
Over the shoulders of Commander Jared Isaacman and pilot Cyan Proctor. Dr. Cyan Proctor is on the right-hand side, and Jared is on the left-hand side. And this is their dashboard for the next 3 days. These touch screens provide them all of the telemetry and data and information about the systems on board Dragon that they can interact with while on orbit.
We can see the zero-G indicator floating around.
Is it a rabbit or a dog? I can't.
And it looks like it is a little golden retriever.
Oh, like the golden retriever assistance dogs at St. Jude Children's Hospital. That is apropos.
Oh, I love it. 5th crew member on board with the Inspiration4 crew.
So in a few seconds here, we are expecting the nose cone to open up, and hopefully we'll be able to see the first views of the Dragon cupola in space.
They're opening their helmets from the flight suit.
There we can see that they have just opened up their visors.
And there is a forward hatch inside of Dragon between the cupola and the crew. So when the nose cone does deploy, they won't immediately get to see out the cupola, but once they can get out of their seats, open up that hatch, they'll get some incredible views of space. And on your right-hand screen is Mission Control Hawthorne at SpaceX headquarters here.
I don't see Elon, though, in the mission control.
Once again, the cupola is the observation dome that was installed. It's brand new hardware to this mission. It is in place of what was the docking adapter, the docking mechanism that allowed Crew Dragon to previously dock with the International Space Station. Due to the fact that the space station is not our destination today, we were able to pull out that docking mechanism and insert the cupola, which will basically provide a 360 view of space for our passengers inside Crew Dragon Resilience here, which I cannot wait for our first views of the cupola. You know, everything that we've seen on the ground here is just incredible, and to see it actually in action with those 360 views is going to be breathtaking for us. I can't even imagine what it might be like to actually experience it in person.
Yeah, this is going to be incredible, and I can't wait for them to get the first look out, and hopefully we'll.
So, guys, everybody survived? No heart attacks, no aneurysms?
I have
How's everybody doing?
I'm breathing again.
You're breathing again. Adam, you're still awake?
Oh yeah, it's all good. Waiting for the cupola.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, and today also happens to be the Engineers' Day in India.
Oh, well, that's really cool.
September 15. Yeah.
What happens during Engineers' Day?
Oh, it is to commemorate a very famous engineer of India, and it's like I guess engineers greet each other and feel good.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they should be Engineers' Day all over the world, actually.
Yeah, I think there's another one which is on March 4th, I think. In addition to the Indian one, maybe the worldwide is March 4th. I'll look it up. But yeah.
Yeah, my heart rate just went back to normal. I just have a big smile on my face.
I almost got teary-eyed. I just don't remember.
Me too. Big smile.
Yeah, super happy day. This is like history in the making. And we're going to have probably lots of footage over the next 3 days. If you can, donate to St. Jude's. Very important. There's a link in the description of this episode. It will send you directly to St. Jude's page. And let's try to make this happen for them.
Somebody just told Jeff
Jeff who?
Bezos.
Jeff who?
Oh yeah, sorry, didn't get that.
Oh, sorry, I was remiss. Hey, join us on stage if you want. Like, if you want to join us on stage, just call in and we'll bring you up, or else, yeah.
So, Justin, how was the experience on site? Tell us.
I think Justin is with his family, but he had like almost like 30 seconds ahead of us.
I was 10 ahead of you.
Yeah, me too, actually. I'm like 25 seconds ahead of you, Alex.
Well, I took off the VPN. I took off everything, so I can't explain it. Sometimes for the Starlink mission, I was ahead of everybody for 30 seconds. Now I'm 30 seconds behind.
Maybe if you just reload, you may catch up.
No, because it says live. There's no point in reloading. But yeah, for the Starlink mission, people were also watching it, and they were saying, how's it possible that it's going to your computer and back through call-in, and I'm still 30 seconds ahead of everybody?
I think it's super random because I'm watching the Everyday Astronaut feed on my big TV.
Yeah.
And that one is like 15 seconds ahead of the official SpaceX feed, although they also stream the SpaceX feed. So it's, I don't get it.
Really weird. But hey.
It could be simple concept of load balancing. So like in the balancing of the load, there may be a delta because we are going to different servers, right, all over the world. So.
Yeah, it's all the CDN network. It depends on who you've connected to for the content delivery.
Yep.
Okay, Sujit, you can stay as a caller, but I'm also sending you an invite to come on stage with us if you want. But you can also unmute and talk in the caller box. Oh.
So Alex, I know we are trying to test as many folks on the stage as possible, but typically I've seen like on an average call, there are not more than a few people on the stage. So most calls will not have so many folks on the stage, right? So I don't know, they're trying to break a certain limit or...
No, like I did the test for Starlink and we had an extra row, I think. So we had basically like 16 or more people on stage and the app was super stable. And now we have 12. And I don't think, has anybody experienced any troubles? I'm not seeing it on my end.
No. Today also the emojis did not have a problem like the other day.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's stable because sometimes we're going to do interviews, but like tomorrow we're going to have the FSD beta testers and it's about a dozen of them that are going to be on stage with the hosts and moderators and everything. So it's going to be a big stage. But yeah, usually it's going to be just a few people doing the discussion. And then we're going to open it up to Q&A via callers and bring maybe a few other people on stage. This is abnormal because, we're not actually generating the full content. We're basically just rebroadcasting a live event that's happening. But yeah, I'm glad to see that the app is pretty stable.
Yeah. And when you are streaming the live event from your place, is it over the air mic or you connected like it's like an input into your phone or something? The audio?
No, it's simple over the air mic.
Okay, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted also to test that with the Starlink mission that the audio was going to be good for Inspiration4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this is so exciting, an exciting day. Go ahead, Justin. Yeah, you're back. How was it for you?
Yeah. This was the best night launch I've seen just by visuals, and then having on top of that, the civilians going into space. It was incredible. Like the way the sun was hitting the plumes when it went up was, I'd never seen anything like that before. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. You were 30 seconds ahead, so when you unmuted, you took it a little by surprise because you launched and we were at plus 30 seconds. There was like a delay, but I could hear the excitement around you, and yeah, it must have been something to be there in person.
Yeah, so I didn't do a song that I got because I was recording with my other phone. Yeah, is there some of the or is it with the other people?
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit. I don't think you have a very good signal. You're coming in steady, but breaking up.
Oh. Yeah, the engine, my phone, or if it didn't really come through.
AK, welcome to the stage. How did you find the launch?
Hey guys. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. You always get nervous about these things, even just watching it from your TV at home. But yeah, good stuff. I had a question though. I mean, they're not going to the ISS, right? They're just going to be in orbit.
Oh, they're going to be higher than the ISS.
Right. So they're just going to be in the Dragon for the next 3 days?
Yeah, just in the Dragon.
Oh, wow.
3 days, they're going to see like 15 sunrises, and then they're going to re-enter. So I think that's what they thought about, because it's also breaking a record for a long time, I think since the Apollo days. So they're going to go a very high orbit, which will give them less sunrise and sunsets, basically, because they will be going slower. But yeah, they're breaking that record as well. And I think they're going to get a much more interesting view the higher they are. So they're going to be much higher than the ISS.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I guess the Dragon. I don't know. I just find it a bit funny. I guess it just seems kind of small to be in there for 3 days, but maybe I'm just like not really visually understanding like how large.
Oh, no. It's no privacy for sure. Like you go to the bathroom in a bag. You're going to be eating together, sleeping one next to. Yeah, and that's what I think. They also spent so much time together before and did activities all together to basically, develop a relationship where you can spend like with three people in close quarters for like 3 days.
Wow, yeah, that's impressive in itself. It's small quarters, yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's all.
So it'll be 15 sunrises and 15 sunsets, Alex, per day or total? Across 3 days? Total. Okay.
Yeah. So 5 a day, which is still like pretty amazing when you think about it.
Oh yeah, 5 a day.
You get to experience sunrise and sunset 5 times a day.
Every 4-5 hours.
That would be kind of weird.
Yeah, it feels a little sometimes like Norway. Norway, you do the sunset and then the sunrise happens in 1-2 hours.
We have somebody from Norway. Adam is from Norway.
I've spent a summer there.
Alex, I think it's 15 per day.
It's 15 per day.
Yeah, because the International Space Station is 16 per day. So.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
So it'll be like 45
earlier.
Because I thought that. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, we can double check.
What I heard was 15 because they're above the ISS, and the ISS is
ISS is 420 kilometers, and they're going at 575.
So they'll see 16, and the Inspiration4 will see 15.
Oh, okay. So my bad, my mistake. Thank you for the correction.
Yeah, the space station orbits the Earth every 90 minutes. Yeah, so that would make sense.
So it's even more.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, maybe they're going to close the cupola, the hatch, just to get some sleep, so they don't get a sunrise.
Yeah, so it's more than 1 per hour. It's like crazy. Yeah.
All the adrenaline that they must have been feeling, you would think they'd just be totally knocked out after what?
Well, tonight is going to be hard to get some sleep. That's my guess. Because adrenaline does not dissipate all that fast. And just looking out in space and all these things, it's going to be exciting. But then when adrenaline wears off, then it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. So guys, we're just past the 1 hour mark, and the live stream has ended on SpaceX. So
any idea why they ended the live stream versus showing the telemetry? Like, because the speed was increasing, right? The kilometers per hour. It was going to go until what, 17,000 miles per hour or something? Max?
No, but it was in kilometers. So I think last time we left them, they were at 24,000 kilometers an hour.
Yeah,
but they were only at 200 kilometers altitude.
Yeah, they will reach 575.
Yeah, they will
right,
slowly rise to 575. And I don't think I think that we're going to have maybe another live stream at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, so closing thoughts, everybody, before we close this episode. Thank you all for showing up. I had a wonderful time with you guys, like sharing in history. Anybody else has closing thoughts?
No, had a wonderful time. So Alex, do you know when the next stream starts?
I don't know, but if we get the info, if you follow the show, you subscribe, you'll get a notification of the schedule, and we'll for sure schedule something if there's another live stream.
Thank you. Yeah, and I just wanted to report that the today is like the Engineers Day in India, and then March 4th is called the World Engineering Day for a Sustainable World. That's another definition.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just say this is incredible moment, and it's a long time coming. I think a lot of people question the sort of the point of this mission, but I think it's just to showcase what's possible, and that us normal people will eventually, hopefully, go up to space. And for those wondering, a little dog floating around, Barbara just DM'd me. A little dog floating around is available on the St. Jude shop for $24.
Yeah, so go buy it, go donate. Very important. Let's make it happen for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think
we should post we should post a link to that on our Twitter profile.
Yeah. So Barbara, DM us the link, and we'll and I want to say, like, people, we have like a Twitter account. It's called @officialxpod. And if you have ideas, suggestions of an episode we should do, comments, questions, whatever, our DMs are open. So feel free to write us there, or you can also message us through this app. Feel free to use both. And with that, I think we're going to call it an evening. Thanks a lot, folks. And I'll be publishing the episode in the next few minutes.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.